Okay, welcome to the Queen Anne's County Commissioners Meeting. This is a public meeting that is being aired live on our local cable television station, QACTV 7. These media broadcasts provide county citizens an opportunity to watch and review our public meetings. In addition to our live audience this evening, we are providing remote options for citizens to watch and participate in county commissioner meetings. Citizens may watch our meeting live on our Queen Anne's County website at www.qac.org/live. or on our television channel, Atlantic Broadband Channel 7 and High Definition Channel 507. Citizens may also participate by joining the live Zoom meeting, and we have the link shown on the screen up here. They can also email comments directly to the meeting at publiccomment@qac.org, and we will read those comments during the press and public comment period on this evening's agenda. We acknowledge your participation, and by attending, you acknowledge that this session is both recorded and aired. Press and public comment will be taken and is limited to 3 minutes per person. If you care to speak, please sign the sheet on the information table outside in the lobby. Comments longer than 3 minutes can be submitted in writing for our commissioners' review. We will now stand and be led in the Pledge of Allegiance by Commission President Chris Corcorino.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you could please remain standing. Moment of silence for passing of Tommy Cook and for the Cook family as they lay him to rest today. Thank you.
Okay, Commissioners, we just held a closed session under Section 3305B1 of the General Provisions article to discuss boards and commissions and personnel. And I believe we did reach consensus to change the status of a part-time human resource assistant to full-time status. Could I get a motion on that, please?
I'll make the motion to take the part-time position, human resources, and change it to a full-time position.
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? 5-0. The motion carries.
All right, thank you, Commissioners. That'll be a great help in our ongoing challenges with recruitment of our workforce. That brings us to today's agenda. We have our today's meeting agenda for November 9th, and along with the regular and closed session minutes from your October 26th meeting and the Roads Board minutes from the October 20th special hearing at the Kent Island Estates Community Hall have all been circulated for your review. Do we have any additions or corrections?
Yes, motion to amend the agenda, adding action item number 9.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to accept the minutes and agenda as amended.
All right. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Commissioners. That brings us to our first press and public comment period. Thank you for taking time to express your views to the County Commissioners during this public comment period. Comments are limited to 3 minutes in length. Comments longer than 3 minutes should be submitted in writing. When you come forward, please speak clearly at the standing microphone, state your name, address, and topic of interest. Keeping with the dignity of our office, we ask that all views be expressed in a respectful and civil manner. This commission respects your desire and right to convey your message freely, and we ask as a courtesy to the board and our citizens that you respect the commissioner's request and refrain from naming citizens and or name calling when offering any critique.
No one signed up.
No one signed up. Anybody have anything they want to say? Press and public comment? All right, we'll close press and public comment.
All right, Commissioners, moving on to new business for this evening. If you want to turn to tab number 2 in your books, we have the Department of Public Works is here, and they have a number of items. So if Director Alan Quimby and Chief Roads Engineer Shane Moore make their way up. We have tab 2, item 1, page 1. First thing is a systematic replacement of 2 tractor mowers. So could I get a motion on that?
Yeah, I moved to purchase 2 John Deere 5100M utility tractors with Tiger mowers from Atlantic Tractor of Queen Anne, Maryland, in the amount of $206,615.04 via the Sourcewell contract 110719 JDC.
Second. Okay, sorry.
And we're in Convenience Roads Board for that, right?
Yes, we are.
Gotcha.
Yes.
All right, we've got a motion and a second.
So, the price of a lawnmower is $100,000 a piece now?
54 for the mower, for the tractor, and then about 40-some for the actual mower itself. Well, it's a side mower and a rear mower. It's two mowers on each tractor, so, yes.
We should live to see the day.
How many of those do we have now?
We have,
Just out of curiosity, how many, what's your normal?
we have 10 cab tractors right now. Well, I'm sorry, make that 14 cab tractors, and then we have several older ones that don't have cabs. So as part of this is a systematic replacement, so we'll purchase two and we'll get rid of two of the older ones.
Right.
And two of the older ones are 1993 Ford mowers that we used to.
So you normally keep like a 14 for inventory purposes of these type of mowers?
There's usually 14 that are in working good condition, ready to go, and then there's several that are in repair or parked waiting for more repairs. So
What's your next oldest after these 93s when you get rid of these? Are we still in the 90s?
the
Next oldest after the 93s, are we still in the 90s or are we making it to 2000 yet?
then we go to 2001.
Okay, good.
So we got two 93s, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We had 6 in 2001 that are the open cab old style, which have a lot of hours on them. But they're spares, and they also work on construction sites as well.
All right, cool. Any other discussion? Call that a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? 5-0, motion carries.
All right, thank you, Commissioners. Item 2 on page 6 is the Worcester Road Special Assessment for Road Improvements Project Decision, and a number of emails and from the public record. So I'll let, if you want to make a motion on that, or if you want to let Shane kind of update the board on the public
Can we
record.
get a motion?
We'll get a motion first.
Motion, okay.
I move to approve the Worcester Roads Special Assessment Road Improvement Project.
Second.
Motion second.
Okay.
Give us update?
In follow-up to the October 20th, 2021 public hearing, which we had 3 attendees, property owners attend. Working with Ken Island Estates Roads Association Board, we have finalized the public record, and out of the 21 property owners, 12 property owners have emailed in favor of the project as proposed. 4 have indicated they are not in favor of the project and oppose it, and we've had 5 property owners make no response at all. So we have a pretty good support for moving forward with the project.
Any discussion? All right, so we have a motion to approve the Worcester Road Special Assessment Road Improvement Project. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? 5-0, the motion carries.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Commissioners. That's all we had for the Roads Board this evening.
All right, make a motion to send to
Sanitary. Second.
Okay, I'm going to sanitary.
All right. Item number 4, three. Item number 3 on page 23 is the Public Works Agreement for the Botel Restaurant. And this is a follow-up from a allocation grant for the Botel Restaurant Phase 2. Can I get a motion on that, please?
I move to execute the Public Works Agreement with Botel Restaurant LLC to allow them to construct a 5,531 square foot restaurant.
Second.
All right, we got a motion, a second. Any discussion?
Yeah, this is coming off the commercial property side, right?
That is correct.
Okay.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? 5-0, motion carries.
All right, thank you, Commissioners. Item number 4 on page 26 is the systematic replacement of a loader for the Solid Waste Division. And this is for recycling activities. Can I get a motion on that?
I move to purchase one Case 621G loader with Asbury 2.25 cubic yard, 4-in-1 bucket, and Henke REL hydraulic angle plow from GT Mid-Atlantic of Greenwood, Delaware, in the amount of $205,503 via the Sourcewell contract number 032119-CNH.
Well done.
Can I get a second?
Can we get a second?
Second?
Motion second. Any discussion?
So what are we replacing here?
Yeah.
What are we doing? Replacing?
This is a systematic replacement of the telehandler that we have out at the Midshore, at the Materials Consolidation Facility. That we would like to keep that. That is a very unique piece of equipment. Back at the MCF, when the MCF started, we actually did more of the MERP program, the recycling. So we purchased that. It was actually a used purchase, and it's very versatile. However, when MERP program moved away from Queen Anne's County and went back to MES, that particular item was used more for just pushing up material and here and there. So we want to keep it as a kind of as an alternative to go to different sites. It's also listed in our debris management plan. It's very, very handy with that. But this loader would go to the Centerville and basically be used for push-up brush as well as help with recycling.
And can it be used for snow plowing as well, or?
Very much so, yes. They're worth their weight in gold when we have snow.
Okay, good.
All right, any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? 5-0, motion carries.
Okay, I think that's all we had for the Department of Public Works for this evening. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
So we can now move to our action items under tab 3. First, we have a proclamation number 2167.
All right, I'll read this one. Proclamation 21-67. Whereas we have seen a significant rise in the number of citizens diagnosed with diabetes, a chronic condition that can lead to heart disease, kidney disease, vision loss, and other serious health problems. And especially during National Diabetes Month in November, we draw awareness to all forms of this dangerous condition and recommit ourselves to finding a cure. Whereas over the last year and a half, people living with diabetes have faced heightened risks to their health. Their condition makes them more vulnerable to the worst effects of COVID-19. Whereas citizens who are diagnosed are faced with added challenges of high insulin prices, which puts their health and financial well-being of their family at risk. Whereas, while we continue to seek a cure, we also work to improve our awareness and prevention of diabetes. Whereas the County Commissioners of Queen Anne's County are dedicated to raising diabetes awareness and to help prevent, treat, and manage the disease. Now, therefore, we, the County Commissioners of Queen Anne's County, do hereby proclaim November as Diabetes Awareness Month in Queen Anne's County. And you'll see all the commissioners, we are wearing orange pins today for juvenile diabetes. Next one.
All right, thank you, Commissioners. Item number 2 on page 2 is Proclamation 2149.
Alrighty, I'll get that one. Proclamation 21-49. Whereas the mission of One Mom's Battle and the Family Court Awareness Month Committee is to increase awareness on the importance of a family court system that prioritizes child safety and acts in the best interest of children. And whereas the mission of the Family Court Awareness Month Committee is to increase awareness on the importance of education and training on domestic violence, childhood trauma, and post-separation abuse for all professionals working within the family court system. And whereas the mission at the Family Court Awareness Month Committee is to educate judges and other family court professionals on the empirical data and research that is currently available, and such research is a critical component to making decisions that are truly in the best interest of children. And whereas this research includes the Adverse Childhood Experiences Study, CDC-Kaiser Permanente, Saunders Study, U.S. Department of Justice, the MIR Study, Childhood Custody Outcomes in Cases Involving Abuse Allegations, and the Santa Clara Law Study, Confronting the Challenges of High Conflict Personality in Family Court. And whereas the mission at the Family Court Awareness Month Committee is fueled by the desire for awareness and change in the family court system while honoring the 100-plus children in the United States who have been murdered by a parent after a custody court rejected the other parent's plea for protection. That source is the Center of Judicial Excellence. Now, therefore, we, the County Commissioners of Queen Anne's County, hereby recognize the mission of One Mom's Battle and the Family Court Awareness Month Committee to increase awareness on the importance of the family court system to act in the best interest of the child's safety. Signed, the Queen Anne's County Commissioners.
Who wrote
All right, very well done. Thank you, Commissioner Moran.
That was
Lots of new words.
that's a Mr. Wilson kind of.
Okay, moving right along. Item number 3 on page 3 is the Maryland Transit Operating Grant Agreement Packet for fiscal '22. And this, signing these documents informs MTA that Queen Anne's County accepts the federal and state funding to support transit services in countywide and the locally owned transit system for Queen Anne's County.
I move to hereby accept the Maryland Transit Administration Operating Grants Agreement Packet to certify that the Queen Anne County Department of Community Services Area Agency on Aging will cooperate with the public transit system and will accept the awards as offered by the State of Maryland Department of Transportation for the fiscal year 2022.
Second.
All right, we've got a motion and discussion. Any discussion? Do I say anything?
This is something we do
She's getting ready to.
That's right.
every year.
Wait for
That's
that.
true. We're getting ready to get elected.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
All right, thank you, Commissioners. Item 4 on page 23 is the Blue Heron Golf Course Grounds Maintenance 5-year contract. And this is a contract bid award for grounds maintenance at our own Blue Heron Golf Course. It's a 5-year term, beginning in January of next year through December 2026. We had 3 bids, and staff recommends the low bid, Growing Solutions, for the overall price of $1,223,688.16.
I move to authorize the Department of Parks and Recreation / the Blue Heron Golf Course to enter a 5-year contract with Growing Solutions LLC for the grounds maintenance of the golf course. The terms of the contract are from January 1, 2022 to December 31st, 2026 at the amount of $1,423,688.16, funding to come from the Department of Parks and Recreation Blue Heron Golf Course Enterprise Fund under maintenance agreements.
Second.
Either.
Yes, I have a question. So this is a 5-year contract. Just out of curiosity, and it looks like in year 24 and 25, there's a 5% increase in the annual amount. Is this a common thing to commit to a 5-year contract for an outside contractor to maintain the golf course? I mean, is that an unusually long time?
No, we've done it now. I think this is the third time that we've done the 5-year contract with them. By the time a company like that has to lease equipment and bring it in, set up shop, get used to all the problem areas on the golf course.
So they
and
want
do
some
maintenance.
sort of long-term commitment for that.
And do you have anywhere in your contract agreement a clause that you can get out of that contract at any given moment?
We have it's written in there that if there's a discrepancy that we can bring the University of Maryland Turf Grass Management in to look at the problem and, come to terms. If they're not doing their job, then we can get out.
I mean, I know we had these issues on other contracts. 5 years, like I said, after the first year, something goes wrong, you're 4 years in dealing with the University of Maryland as the referee, I would assume that I'd rather have a clause to say for any given reason, I don't like the color of your trucks, we can fire you, so, but you're saying no. Okay, I'm just,
Let me put the question backwards. If to their disadvantage, they had misestimated because of inflation or something, would they be, can we hold their feet to the fire?
Once they sign the contract, it's written in the contract, the amount per year. So as you broke it down, it was 5% and then
It's either
3%.
Yes or no?
yeah.
Yes, we hold them to the price that
Okay.
we had guaranteed.
But they have an inflationary clause in there. I mean,
It looks
their
like in
increase
year
is
4 and
already-
5, it goes
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, so they've got, and at least the escalation isn't on the front end.
Okay.
And I believe this is the same company that's been doing the maintenance down there for the last 5-year contract, and I think they've done it.
Yeah, they originally, the first year that we ever contracted out the grounds, I guess has been 14, 15 years ago. They were the first company we brought in. We did it 1 year as a trial to see how it would go with the contract company, and they got the bid. And then we bid it out, I think, a 3-year term, and I think we tried another company who was fair, and then we've done now this would be the second 5-year that we've done with Growing Solutions, so.
But then again, so if they already have the equipment and they've already had the job for 5 years, it's not like that's a,
They know what they're
in other words,
doing.
they already have the equipment.
Right.
So,
But you also have to renew your leases and upgrade your equipment. They turn their equipment over much faster than we turn our equipment over. Just a little bit.
really?
Just in case you didn't know.
Now you've done it, Phil.
It must be weekly.
I think they factor in costs.
Really? They turn it over more than you do?
We're gonna have to check the books on that.
I guess they factor in the cost of inflation and staffing, fuel prices.
Retention.
Equipment.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay, all right. Well, you know, if they did a great job for 5 years. It's not broken, don't fix it.
Are you happy with them overall? I mean, are they?
Yeah, I think they're doing a great job, so. I think it's come a long way. I was just showing Steve some of the numbers that, in revenue that we've done over, since 2018 to today, and it's crazy.
Okay, so that's the next question. You know, the golf course being an enterprise fund and the cost that it's gonna to bring in this outside contractor for the next 5 years to manage the course, you know, the numbers jive with what is earned and what it costs us to maintain it.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
But you know, like anything, in order for a golf course, you know, people have a certain vision of what it looks like. And you gotta have the right professionals there to, you know, to take care of it. So, you know, that's money well spent. You're keeping it looking good and attractive and, you know, as, you know, Blue Heron has, you know.
And they're pretty responsive to your needs and requests during the last 5 years?
Yes, yeah. So, you know, we have in the future possibly a rebuilding of greens, and the current superintendent has built a lot of golf courses and has a lot of knowledge of that, so he's actually looking forward to staying and doing that, because that's what he likes to do, is build golf courses and
I don't have anything
that
else.
kind of stuff. So-
All right. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? 5-0, motion carries.
Thank you, Eric.
All right, thanks, guys.
Good job.
Yep, thanks, gentlemen. All right, Commissioners, our next item is item number 5 on page 25 and 26. This is a support letter for a project entitled History of the Shantytowns on the Kent Narrows. This is written for Doncella Wilson, the Executive Director of Myoneer's Dream Alliance, for this project that is going to do some research and do a report on this very unique endeavor here. So could I get a motion on that?
Make a
please?
motion to sign the letter of support to the Swords of the Chesapeake Heritage Area.
Second.
All right. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? 5-0, motion carries.
All right, thank you, Commissioners. Item number 6 on pages 27 through 32 is a request from St. Mary's County seeking our mutual support for a more favorable split of the potential opioid settlement funds between local jurisdictions and the state. I mean, right now it's set up where the state gets the lion's share, 85, we get 15, so this would kind of reverse that, so we would get the bigger portion of that, and there is a letter in the packet there on page 32.
Does this letter say that the smaller jurisdictions have to then go beg to the state for money?
Exactly.
Right,
There's
exactly.
another further split
Pretty
on
much
the
so.
state piece that you have to apply for as long as you have an abatement program. So it's a lot of hoops for the local jurisdictions, the smaller counties and municipalities to go through. So this would actually reverse that. We may get some traction. Other states have done similar.
Right, so basically, so we get the money and we don't have to go beg the state to give us money to take care of our problems.
And Jim, you're familiar with it more with the drug czar. It's always been an issue to try and get money out of that special fund they had there too,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah, it's-
So we don't want it
Once
to
the
get
state
locked
gets
back
it,
up
they
into
hold on
that.
to it.
Right. Yeah. So I make a motion to sign the letter of support to Governor Larry Hogan to revise the current distribution of opioid settlement funds to 85% local and 15% state.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, thank you, Commissioners. Item number 7 on page 33 is a list of the county holidays for next year for your approval.
I make a motion to approve the list of Queen Anne's County holidays for the year 2022.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? 5-0, motion carries.
All right, thank you, Commissioners. Item 8 on page 34 and 35, it's hard to believe, but this is our fiscal 2023 budget calendar for your,
Move to approve the FY 2023 budget calendar.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? 5-0, motion carries.
All right, thank you, Commissioners. And we have one desk item, actually two desk items. Well, first desk item number 9 is the Graysonville and Mowbray Park court work. And this is a contract award with ATC, American Tennis Courts, to refurbish the courts at Graysonville Park and Mowbray Park. Can I get a motion on that, please?
I move to authorize Department of Parks and Recreation to contract ATC Corp. to refurbish courts at Graysonville and Mowbray Park in the amount of $375,486.
Got a motion and a second by Commissioner Wilson.
Yeah, real quick, if you don't mind, Steve, just for the folks that are watching, just a brief description of this project and what you're going to do.
Okay. Basically, for both of those sites, we're going to completely redo the fencing, redo the asphalt, color coding, lining. We'll mill down the old asphalt that's on there. Mowbray will have, again, the 3 tennis courts, and then we'll put 2 pickleball courts on each side, so they'll have a total of 6 pickleball courts there. Graysonville will have 1 singular tennis court with a pickleball overlay. The next, I'm going to call it a bay, the next bay over will be 2 pickleball courts, and then the 3rd bay over will be a basketball court. And again, that will be all new fencing, new asphalt, new striping, lining, color coding, the whole 9 yards. It'll look brand new.
Very good. Thank you very much.
All right. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? 5-0, the motion carries.
All right, thank you, Director Chanley. All right, Commissioners, that's all the action items we had for this evening. We can move into our presentations, and we're just about back on schedule. So I think we have Director Kathy Willis and Mike Clark, Chief of Housing, for a special presentation from their update today.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Well, that's a challenge.
Good evening.
Good evening, how are you?
Good.
Mike and I are here tonight to do our update, and we wanted to share just a few highlights with you this time on what's been going on in the Department of Community Services. And I just wanted to start with a thank you that July 1st began our FY22 budgeting year, approving a new position in the Area Agency on Aging. And it is with great pleasure that I can announce the promotion of Ann Sparks, who is here with me tonight. She could wait. As the Chief of Aging and Transportation. Annie brings a wealth of knowledge, has been with us for 9 years, and has over 10 years experience in supervision. She's very familiar with, closely with 2 of the divisions of aging already, and just gets to tackle learning the transportation division, which she has my transit administrator, Maynard Nash, right behind her to help her show the ropes. So we are very much looking forward to this. And for those of you who don't know, this position will actually replace a position that I held in 2006 as the, did I do that right? 2006 as the director, a sole director of aging. In 2011, with the recession and the reorganization of the county, we went from 12 county agencies down to 5. And that's when Mike and I joined forces, and I became the Director of Community Services. So to say this is long overdue, it's just a tad bit, but we're really excited. So now I can work with Mike more and learn more about being the Director of actual Community Services as opposed to the daily management of the aging department itself. So looking very forward to that. Her first effective day will be tomorrow. But of course, since she's an internal promotion, she will be filling her position first as the Senior Center Administrator, which just posted today. So we're excited to be looking for a new administrator for that division. And then we have an update on Mike's programs for the critical workforce.
Yes, we have just
one of the, as you all are very much aware, we've got a lot of money from COVID. So one of the specific ones that came through the Division of Housing and Community Services was Emergency Rental Assistance Program. And we got one of the biggest awards that I've ever, since I've been in the housing office, received. We're used to getting, maybe we were lucky if we got $120,000 to help people avoid eviction this year through, I think, September of next year. We got $1.6 million. I got to tell you, that was huge. I mean, my eyes go large, and we've told we're going to be getting more in another round potentially. I said, how are we ever going to spend that? But so far, we've already spent about $6 million of it. We've supported actually 101 families, keeping them from possible eviction.
Wait a minute, you got 1.6.
600,000, sorry.
600,000.
I was gonna say, 6 million on 100 families.
Yeah, what did I say? How
6
much?
million.
6
Sign
million.
me up.
Yeah,
He was shooting high.
sorry.
That's
Thank
government
you.
math there.
So we've spent about 600,000 of it so far, excuse me, and for about 100 families through the end of October. We also have money for utility assistance, which we spent not quite as much, about 25,000 doing that. And we also have a piece in there on for legal support and legal aid, which we've actually taken some constituents you've referred and used some of that money to help with that. But I also want to, and that's pretty much the overview on that, but I also want to emphasize, though, that while we're working real hard to support the tenants to keep eviction, we're also really working to do our best to support the landlords. The whole purpose of this is not just to help the tenants. We want to keep them housed, but you know, as you all know, probably better than most, is that they're small business owners, and this is their investment, or this is their income, and we're doing our best to try to make sure that the funding is getting to them quickly and as much as possible. There's always a little bit of issues going on, but we hope that the landlords are feeling the respect also from the program. So that's kind of the big point. And the way we do that is by listening, by paying attention, by responding to them, and also by trying to, once the referrals come in, to get the payments out very quickly, within hopefully 2 weeks after we have a full application. And not only are we working hard on that in our office, but the folks in finance are extremely helpful in making that happen.
So, Mike, are there caps on that, how that works? Or is it based on income caps? You know, because obviously I can't see us supporting somebody with a $6,000 a month mortgage so they don't get evicted, things like that. I mean, is it done based on income?
It's done based on income, but the limits are a lot higher, or much more higher than typical. So we can do anywhere from 80% of median income. So to put that in perspective, if you take a family of four, they could be making up to $79,900 currently for a family of four. It varies on family size, et cetera. But for a family that's got a full income of $79,900, we can help them. So, which is typically higher than where we go.
But is there a cap on the rent that we pay for them?
The cap on the rent that we pay for them is we can pay up to 12 months of overdue rent, going as far back as March 13th. We can pay up to 12 months of overdue utilities, and we can pay up to 3 months into the future. But there is no amount that we're aware of that we have to stop at. It's more of a time thing. It's like nothing I've ever seen, quite frankly.
Like $300 every week for free kind of deal?
Well, it takes you, potentially, they've got to prove that it's affected by COVID and things like that, but even those thresholds the tests aren't that strict. I mean.
Does it have a sunset on it at all right now? I know you're saying 3 months past, but does it have any immediate sunset or one that's in the program?
Well, the grant runs out.
The grant runs out as September of next year, but there's rumors that there's more money behind it in the next administration, or the current administration funding.
And I think it's important too, Mike, to mention that the rents that are being paid as assistance or aid for these folks, so they're not evicted, the payments are going right to the property owner, the landlords.
That is, and actually, the answer is yes, but no, because they are going directly to the landlords. In our county, we are doing that 99.9% of the time, and before we got this money, 100%, but this money from the feds actually allows us to pay the tenant directly, which is very scary, but in our office, unless it's very special circumstance, we always pay the landlord directly.
Very good.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. And I skipped right over. I said critical workforce and went right to you. But I wanted to just to thank the Department of Human Resources, and I was very excited earlier when I heard the part-time position goes to a full-time position there, because they have been working their tails off literally for us, because our struggle with getting employees on, our vacancy, especially in the transportation division, we had been floating along with 5 full-time vacancies, and when you put 1 or 2 people either on vacation or on FMLA or out sick, it has been a tremendous challenge to meet the needs of the transportation program and just giving the people the rides they need, covering our routes, doing everything. We just went through the second round of interviews. The first round did not produce, so to speak. Our greater challenge is the CDL driver, of course, but CDL shortage is a nationwide issue. We have altered positions and turned many into non-CDL bus drivers. Any that we can, we have done so. The newer fleet that we have coming, if it ever gets here, please come soon. We're buying smaller buses so that we don't have to have the CDL license to drive it. So our plan is to try to increase the applicant pool, and we did so by you allowing the critical workforce plan for employees. We did increase the grade and salary of the bus drivers, which we hoped helped the second round. We hope it'll continue to help. And this is going to be the future of the county overall, for us to be a competitive market to get employees on our workforce and to maintain them. So we just wanted to thank HR and thank you for approving that for them. So.
So in the past, Kathy, did you have trouble getting drivers? Has this always been an ongoing problem, or do you think this is a COVID-related problem with people not wanting to come back to work, that kind of thing?
Transit is a kind of a vicious cyclical program, if I put that correctly. We always have a challenge getting people on, especially in transportation. It has been a challenge. Over my years, and that's a long time being here, we've altered the program itself, where years ago when I first started, 27 years ago, we had all full-time drivers. And we had good drivers, and you kept them, and eventually, because of their longevity, they ended up costing a really lot of money when you look at it, when times were good. So we altered, say, 10 years ago, and we went to part-time too. We did a mix. Part-times you can't keep. You just can't hold on to them. So that made it a challenge. We even made their rate higher, just for a part-time contractual position. We've tried every model. We're back to full-time drivers because they're more maintainable. And then we have a couple, just 3 now, floating contractual workers. But those contractual workers, I have to have CDLs because they're going to fill in. They may fill in for any route, any bus driver that's off. So I can't take the chance to have a non-CDL. Those 3 positions have been vacant for months, 6 months, something. So it's it is tough. It is tough. In this last pool, Maynard's just hired 4 full-time drivers, and we could only squeeze 1 CDL. So once we get these in place, because HR is so backed up too, is once we get these guys in place, then we're going to work on trying to advertise for the CDL contractual part-timers, because we really need that backup. If somebody calls out, it's not like, no offense to even Mike and myself, I'll pick on us. We're at a desk. We're doing all kinds of things, and we can keep doing them, but we're not driving a bus. When you're driving a bus, if somebody calls out, I have to have somebody else to fill it. So those 3 contractual positions are crucial to keep us running. So we're hoping to go in a positive direction. We made it through this second round, so and having that full staff in there is just phenomenal, because we've ended up turning people down. We went from a 2-day window to reserve a trip to a 2-week window to reserve a door-to-door medical trip, and that's not the way we want to operate. So we'll be very happy to be full-staffed again. So, thank you for asking. And I would be amiss, before I get into the really fun part, which is really quick, but I would be amiss if I didn't mention, I come in here and we highlight the good and the bad, bad, and the ugly here, you know, so, and I have to say, for the past 2 months, one of my duties as director of aging, all these years, is to be a guardian for wards of the state, which are individual seniors over 65 who have no family, no one else to take care of them. And they're deemed incompetent. They're not able to make decisions for themselves. And plenty of people have already been through and dug through, is there family, is there someone, is there anyone? And sometimes it ends up with us. We have always had a history of having very few of these individuals, which is wonderful. Probably means we're not aware of all the people that need it, but you go to Baltimore City and they have over 300 guardian clients. Right now I have 3, which is high for us right now. But I've spent the last month dealing with 2 in particular, in and out of hospitals. I've had one go from a nursing home to a hospital to hospice, and now maybe back to a nursing home. I have another one who, went to the hospital, and I'm talking to doctors, I'm talking to discharge planners, nurses, the people taking care of them constantly. They called me at 8 o'clock last night, the doctor from the facility, to give me a diagnosis on this person, and what do we do with them, and this and that, and I'm just, it's an unreal position to be in. It is like taking care of your parent. That's how I treat it. They're mine, but I don't know them and they don't know me. We learn about them through their families, or through, not their families, they don't have families. We learn about them from the histories that's been maintained. One of them, I've learned more about him because of his attorney, who's the guardian of property. I just have to say that, and some of the work that our staff does for these folks, it's phenomenal, but it's stressful, it's hard, it's tough. You're making decisions. I sat in court last month, thanks to the help of Patrick and his staff. They really help us represent these individuals. So today was a tough day with one of them. So these are humans and they deserve all that they can get. So we're glad that we get to keep doing that. So now on to the fun part. The Department of Aging was established in 1981. So we had our 40th anniversary celebration, which you all enjoyed with us. That fortunately happened because we went through the Commission on Aging Senior Center tour that they love to hold, and they appreciate very much your participation in them. It shows your commitment and your dedication to the department, to the staff, and to the seniors who participate in all of our programs. So for those that are fortunate enough to have their health and their enjoyment of socialization, this is the place to be. So on our open house, I just thought I would share a few fun things for the day. And this was one of our stops at Graysonville, and I was appreciative of them doing the sign with us. And they did a lot of work on 40 years of awesome, better with age. So, oops, here we go. So here's one of the things. And our senior center manager, Ann Martin, did a lot of work on this, and I thought it was fun. The kids today are all into selfies and taking pictures and everything. So that turned out fun. And the seniors that see you there and doing that means the work.
Go back.
Wait a minute.
There you go.
There we go.
Commissioner Wilson,
One of the residents.
We're going to keep him.
That was the commissioner's contribution to the 40th anniversary.
he was very busy talking to the seniors while we were playing with the pictures at first. So he was later getting his picture, but we didn't let him get away. So, and then in one of the centers, the seniors played bingo. They were very active, and in each center that day on our tour, we had a table set up with all of the information that the department has to offer, including transportation, all of the in-home services that we do, and everything. So,
Just real quick, if you go back to the bingo slide.
it's really
So So when they play bingo, they actually get to go to a table and pick a prize if their bingo card is the winning bingo card. They get to go to a table and pick out something that is useful to them, a household item, whether it be toilet paper or paper towels or soap or shampoo or any of that kind of stuff. Is there a program that maybe we can boost right now while we have people here listening and attending the meeting? That if they want to make donations to some household items and things that are new?
Okay, well, let me
they
defer
can-
to Annie for just a second to ask, the senior center, does the site council, or do we pay for those prizes, the bingo prizes?
Basically, the bingo program itself pays for the prizes. Some of the seniors do donate things if they're new, unopened items.
Okay, so my question is, can
Sure.
citizens, is there a place where citizens can drop off some items that if someone's bingo card is a win, they can go to the table and pick something off?
You could go to any senior center or to the main department over here and
And
drop
drop
stuff
some items off.
as long as it's new. And I know it's a busy time with Thanksgiving and Christmas coming, but, and we do a lot of baskets and things with the churches for individuals, but sure, if you wanted to donate to the bingo program itself, we'd gladly accept.
So a box of things that you want to contribute to the bingo program and write bingo on it?
Yep.
And you guys will make sure it gets to the senior centers?
Absolutely.
Okay, great.
Thank you. Now I have to try to get back to where I was. Okay. Finally, Pickin' and Grinnin'. Pickin' and Grinnin' has been around for a very long time. Pickin' and Grinnin', the name, is actually a band that plays good old-fashioned country music that goes to the Sothersville Senior Center every Thursday night and has about 80 participants every week. They volunteer. They bring, usually they can get snacks or sodas or something from the senior center. We have an aide that goes there and opens and closes the building. Years ago, I didn't have those aides or those senior center assistants that could help us do that, so we closed down. This is how demanding Pickin' and Grinnin' was, because we tried to shut it down one time.
That day's
Total
over
riot,
well.
total riot. And now that you guys have all been there, you see why. It can't be shut down. It's so worthwhile. The people there have a fantastic time. It's a healthy event. It's a good event. We really enjoy it. So they were so super appreciative to be able to enjoy your catered meal of Adam's ribs on October 21st. And not only did you serve it, pay for it, do all that, you also got there and you looked me square in the eyes and said, "What's for dessert?" And I was like, "I'm not sure." So thanks to Commissioner Moran and Commissioner Dumanel, they rode up the street to our local Parkside Deli and bought every pie and every cake they had. And then came back and we all cut it and sliced it and put it on plates and served everybody dessert. So
Yeah, actually, I will, Commissioner Moran paid for all of it.
That's all good.
Commissioner Moran paid for all
thank
of
you
it.
very much.
A lot of pie.
I was there, I was there to carry everything in.
It was a team effort.
No pie left at the end of the night either. One piece of pie.
But the financial credit certainly goes to Commissioner Moran.
I wanted to highlight that night. Now, in this picture, I apologize, Phil's not in it because he was running around trying to make a grand entrance. I don't know whether he was going to fly or what he was going to do. But you can see they were following the guidelines of food safety. They had their gloves on. And everybody had a grand time. It was wonderful. Here is proof of the pies. They even gave them their own container from Parkside, which
Was returned?
was returned
Okay.
with the milk crates, everything.
Their
So,
request.
so we not only enjoyed the event, we stimulated the economy from Kent Island to Sothersville that night. This was preparing of the sauces. You can see the hands-on action in the kitchen.
And I'm supervising in the back, you can
Yes,
see.
yes, it was very helpful. From the dining room perspective, this is what the folks got to get up and get to. I had a few staff there that were helping us. In the background, you'll see Annie on the right smiling as always. And then we go on. Now Phil's really excited
It's
here.
like Phil's looking in the mirror.
I got to meet,
Got to meet your idol.
I got to meet my idol.
That's it.
Yep, that's Elvis.
And the inflatable Phil.
Yes. And then this is the group, it shows you the size of the event. A lot of people there, they were so excited. And some people came that have never come before because they heard you were bringing food. So that was an extra plus. Now, this is a special picture because our esteemed county administrator, when we realized it was getting really hot in the kitchen, we have a problem. Now, usually Sudlersville's HVA system is freezing and everybody has sweaters and they're cold, but that night it decided to quit. So our top chief engineer of all times started working on that and fortunately called his proteges, and we had a nice young man come out and spend his only evening that he had at home fixing our air conditioning for us. So we thank you, Todd, also. And then this is proof that they wash dishes.
Job
And I
ain't
thought
done.
this was very important.
I also supervised that as well.
Yes, yes. we
Actually,
see-
you were the one on the bottom there. We were probably, you know.
With his head under the water.
And dancing. So one of the final events of the night is Phil and Jack very, very kindly got out there and danced with folks and had a good time. Now, I'm pretty sure Jim refused.
Yeah.
Couldn't find Todd. I'm not sure where the rest of you were, but they
know
were
when- I
just
know when to go.
thrilled. They were thrilled.
I step on a senior citizen's toes, they're going to know about it for months to come, so no, not a good idea.
That's the end. So I just want to thank you, wanted to say that thank you for letting me get proof and share it with the world. It means everything to us, and as always, your presence and support is important not only to this department, but to the staff and to the participants.
But if you want to give a plug while we're here, because we can't leave out the other two.
Oh, yes, I had that in there, sorry. The next two coming up, because we can't leave anyone out.
Right.
That was for Sudlersville, December 1st. We will be going to Ken Island Senior Center and doing Adam's Ribs is there as well. And then you graciously offered to take over the dinner for the Holiday Gala, which is December 17th at the Graysonville Senior Center, and we're having Italian night.
Very good Italian.
Yes. And where is that from?
Avanti's.
Avanti's.
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you very much. That was a recommendation, and they're very excited. So we're looking forward to it again.
Excellent.
So,
Bada bing.
thank you.
Good job, you two.
Thank you.
Thank you both. Excellent. Okay, Commissioners, our next presentation is Ms. Kelly Huber, Character Counts. And there is two proclamations under tab 6
Do the anniversary.
for Character Counts, so come on up. Tab 6, page 21 and 22.
Anniversary. 25th anniversary.
We got the short ones. We can go to the bathroom break now. We'll see.
Okay, all right.
Hey, Margie, you need calendar invites for both senior centers.
Put mine in now.
Come on, Wayne.
Welcome, welcome.
Hello, thank you for having us.
Thank you, brother.
Okay, all right. So we have quite a few people here today. So anyway, Kelly Huber, Character Counts. We've got several of our advisory members here. We've got Susan Coppage, Wayne Humphreys, we've got Mike Clark, we've got Martha Anthony, we've got a special guest here from the auxiliary, from the American Legion. They were actually the ones that wrote the proclamation for this month. And you might have heard some commotion out there. We've got a bunch of special guests for you that we'll share with you later. But anyway, as far as Character Counts, I don't know, have you guys heard the great news?
Your anniversary?
We have our anniversary, but we're also back in the schools.
Oh, that's good.
Yay!
Yay,
Yes.
so as of November 1st,
Yes.
Dr. Salins called and we got the go-ahead to put our coaches back in the school. So Before this, we were active for the last year and a half, but it was all different. It was all virtual. Our coaches were virtual, the kids were virtual, the teachers were virtual, everything was virtual, but we're back in the schools. Our volunteers have been rushing to go through training. I think my first coach do a lesson yesterday. So it's a good feeling and very excited. We have a mix of returning coaches. We have new coaches. I have student coaches. I went up to Kent Island High School. I trained 13 students up there who will be starting in the different schools. I have next Thursday, I will be working with Queen Anne's County High School and training students there to be student coaches here in the Centerville area. So
How are you recruiting those students at these National Honor Society members?
the ones on Kent Island are National Honor Society. The ones at Queen Anne's County, I worked with Lynn when she was at the middle school. And she's a firm believer in thinking that, yes, they have to have decent grades, but they're not always the leaders. So she handpicks.
Oh, wow.
And she asks the different students. And so I will go on Thursday and we'll get them trained and we'll get them volunteer trained at the schools and we'll get them in classrooms as well. So very exciting, lots of things happening. I have, in the past week, I went from 0 to 50 coaches. So pretty exciting. I have 50 more to go. So if anyone wants to be a coach again, we're looking for coaches. If, definitely, if you know someone who would be a good coach, a good role model, we'd love to have them too. So that being said, we have our November pillar, which is citizenship. And we have Margaret here from the American Legion, the auxiliary of the American Legion. And would you like to say anything about your group?
Just that our goal is to support the American Legion, to support veterans, active duty military, their families, the communities they live in. So whatever we can do to support them, we do.
All right, so thank you. So we have a proclamation for citizenship.
You want to do 21st?
You want the
We also
21st
want
anniversary
21st
first, or you want
anniversary
citizenship first?
Yeah, go ahead and do that.
Okay, I got that one then. Proclamation 2164, Pillar of the Month for November 2021, Citizenship. Whereas Queen Anne's County was declared a character counts community, and whereas all citizens are called upon to embrace the 6 pillars of character, incorporating and modeling their traits in their daily activities, and whereas the month of November focuses on the pillar of citizenship and the cornerstone of character counts, is the 6 pillars of character: trustworthiness, respect, responsibility, fairness, caring, and citizenship. These pillars serve as a platform for teaching values and behaviors associated with good character. And whereas the purpose of the American Legion Auxiliary is to promote patriotism and responsible citizenship and to uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States of America, maintain law and order, and to safeguard the principles of justice, freedom, and democracy, and to promote peace and goodwill on earth. And whereas the Auxiliary has a very definite objective in emphasizing through the Americanism program the teachings of good citizenship, and will foster and perpetuate all matters pertaining to the flag and patriotic education so that every citizen should have a thorough knowledge and understanding of the Constitution of the United States, known as Americanism activities. Whereas the Auxiliary always strives to activate Americanism in the home, in the unit, in youth groups and schools, in adult groups, and in our community, must be able to answer, what kind of an American am I? Take an interest in our country's affairs, express our belief and our love for America in our words and deeds, inspire children and young people in our homes and schools to develop fine character, high ideals, and a sincere appreciation for our heritage. Be tolerant in thought and deeds towards others. Vote intelligently after careful study of candidates and issues. Proudly fly our nation's flag in front of your home. And whereas the security of America lies in citizens whose mind and heart is ingrained a true understanding and love for those ideals and principles upon which the nation was founded, and who awake to the duties of citizenship and are willing to perform these duties even at the cost of great personal sacrifice. The Auxiliary strives to preserve the memories and incidents of our associations in all wars and to create a sense of individual obligation to the community, state, and nation. And whereas all citizens understand the processes that create and maintain the laws and honor the value of volunteering within their communities to help others. And therefore, in the spirit of service, not self, the Auxiliary of the Centerville American Legion encourages citizens to realize that the performance of even one good act can positively affect an entire community. Now, therefore, the Queen Anne's County Commissioners do hereby designate the Character Counts Pillar of the Month for November to be citizenship. Written by the Auxiliary of the Centerville American Legion.
Well
Jefferson
done.
David.
Thank
Well
you.
done.
Thank you very
Good
much.
job.
Thank you.
Well done.
on to our next milestone. Today is our 21st anniversary. You know, last year we were celebrating our 20th, and so another year passes and we're on to 21. So, like someone said, we're legal now. So Wayne, you want to share a little bit about it?
I just wanted to, reflecting on this evening and what to say tonight, I just can't comprehend the amount of support that the citizens of Queen Anne's County have given this initiative. We were out in the outside the area here and looking at the young children coming in, and it's just as fresh, I think, in many ways today as it's ever been, and it's just so exciting to see that something we've been working on and devoting a lot of time and energy to for 21 years has still got a place in so many people's hearts.
And Wayne, have you been involved all 21 years?
Yeah.
Kudos to you.
So,
Kudos to you.
I'm humbled just to see how successful the initiative has been. It started with 125 citizens here in Queen Anne's County getting together and trying to figure out what they wanted to do to try to make Queen Anne's County a better place to live and to have children grow up in and for businesses to thrive. And this was one of two of the top, they had about 30 things they thought of, but the top two after they all voted was the Character Counts, some kind of a Character Counts initiative, and the good after-school programs. And we've really, we've been just so blessed to have so many Character Counts directors, and it's just been a wonderful experience. In some way or another, I was talking with Kelly, and in some way or another, I guess about 150,000 students, a lot of that's probably duplicated, but if you think about over 7,500 students a year through the school system, 21 years, you get a number of well over 100,000 students that have had either classroom experiences or experiences in the schools where they display the 6 pillars. So it's just, and over 1,000 people have come forward to coach. And the commissioners have always been so warm and welcoming, and I really appreciate that, because I think the leadership that you all provide filters down through the community. So thank you. Marty, thank you. Todd. I could go on and on, but it's just been just very rewarding. And speaking of rewarding, we have a special experience for you tonight. We have Carrie Ann Coppage, who's brought her second grade. She must have brought the whole second grade and their parents with them tonight to just share a welcoming back to the school system, and just a way of, again, if you have just a few minutes.
Would you read the proclamation first for that one, or when they?
What, you want to do the proclamation?
Yeah, go ahead, and then,
that would probably be best.
So I think it's appropriate that I get to read this, because I actually, in my first term, was a Characters Counts coach, and excited to know that the Characters Counts coaches are back in the school system, because for me, that was the best part. It was being in the classrooms with the kids and kind of, breaking up their day a little bit, with a stranger from the outside. And so, and then you think about how many kids have graduated and moved on, to start their own lives, and were impacted by these 6 pillars, and how year after year after year in the schools, they were taught the importance of living by these 6 pillars. And part of the reason why we have such great kids. And sometimes I have to remind my own kids of those 6 pillars. And they're grown up. So, 21st anniversary proclamation of the Queen Anne's County Character Counts. Whereas more than 2 decades ago, the people of Queen Anne's County recognized the importance of positive character traits in the people and encouraged one another to incorporate these values into their daily lives. And whereas Queen Anne's County was officially declared a Characters Counts community by the county commissioners in November of the year 2000. And whereas character counts encourage all citizens to model the invaluable traits of the 6 pillars, which include trustworthiness, respect, responsibility, fairness, caring, and citizenship, and an ongoing commitment to promote character development and ethical behavior in our children throughout our community. And whereas during these past 21 years, more than 1,100 volunteer character counts coaches have delivered over 90,000 character counts experiences to our children, and over 80 local businesses have participated in Character Counts initiative as businesses of character. And whereas Character Counts has built great partnerships in the public school system with county commissioners and agencies, nonprofits, child and family care organizations, as well as elsewhere in the community, with the help of these partners and the media, the message of Character Counts is widespread throughout Queen Anne's County. And whereas Character Counts persevered and continues to flourish despite the unprecedented national emergency created by COVID-19 virus, the citizens of Queen Anne's County continue to see value and the spirit of Character Counts, working in so many ways during the challenging times, proving that good character is essential. And whereas through Character Counts, our community has been and will continue to promote the goals of Queen Anne's County Character Counts Advisory Council to strengthen personal character traits, build families of character, and create a more cohesive community of character. And now, therefore, the Queen Anne's County Commissioners do hereby recognize and invite our citizens to celebrate the 21st anniversary of Character Counts here in Queen Anne's County. And it is honored to hand this to you. Job well done.
And along with Carrie Ann Coppage and her children, we also have Teresa Farnell and possibly Dr. Salins. So we'll see.
Door number 1.
I don't know, but what we're going to do is I think I want to do it. Why is Troy and Captain Newberry? They're presenting next. They're presenting next. Okay, they're presenting.
They're the last thing on the presentation.
Thing on the agenda, they're presenting.
That's the motion page, Chris. You need the agenda there.
I was looking at presentations and didn't see it.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
Oh,
Thanks for having us today. You guys ready to sing for them? Yeah. Here we go. Ready? Character counts. Character counts. Character counts. Character counts. Character counts. Your character shows in everything you do. The future's up to you. That's character counts. Character counts. Character counts. Character counts. Character counts. Character counts. Your character will show everywhere you go. The whole world's gonna know that character counts. Character counts. Character counts. Character counts. Character counts. Character counts. It's what you're all about. Inside yourself and out. It makes you wanna shout. Your character counts. Character counts. Character counts. Character counts. Character counts. Character counts. Go back home.
So, on behalf of the commissioners, we appreciate your effort in learning those words and living by them. So, from the county commissioners,
They'll give them each 2.
2.
My kids are going to like me a lot more than
There we go. 2. Well, then let's give we'll give you guys 3.
I'll go to 4. I don't want to back there. Yep.
There you are. Everybody got 2? Very good. Good job, man. Good job.
next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back to
Thank
school,
you.
character counts, right?
Gonna be humming that all night now. That just doesn't leave your head. That's an earworm I'm not gonna be able to get rid of.
What's that?
Da-da-da-da.
Oh, yeah.
All the way down
You
tonight.
just got to find a new song on your way home.
Yeah.
Or you will be in this.
I like the Addams Family though, so it's all good.
Yeah.
You gonna sing? All right. Let's go. Let's wrap it up.
See y'all.
Motion to adjourn if Troy's gonna sing.
Okay, Commissioners, our final presentation this evening is Mr. Troy Wilkins, President of the Queen Anne's County Watermen's Association. I'd like to invite him on up, and I think he may have a few guests with him. Yes. You know? Okay, come on up, Troy. Yeah.
Come on, Dave.
Yes.
Sit up here.
Troy, are they singing with you or are you singing by yourself?
I'll be singing.
You singing by yourself?
He's going acapella.
I'm singing, he's lip syncing, I'll tell you.
Going acapella.
That what you call it?
That's what they call it. Well, I don't know what you're gonna call it, but
Let's listen to it, then we'll figure out
I
what
think
we call it.
I'll just stick with just maybe the singing and all that.
all right.
Thanks for having us here.
Thank you.
Yes, we really, really appreciate your support. It's just been it's a struggle. It's a struggle for us to go to work. It's kind of ridiculous that a person has to fight to keep his job. You know, you want to go to work, but you got to fight to keep your job. So we really appreciate all the support that you give us. Means a lot. Means a lot. I am the chairman of the State Shell Committee for Queen Anne's County, so I am in pretty much constant contact with other people in my same position around the state, and you guys by far give a lot of support more than other commissioners around the state. So, you know, we really appreciate. We appreciate
what you guys do, believe me.
Well,
And gals, sorry.
yeah, the gals are,
Housing.
you know how the
They
gals
all do all the work at the
Yeah, they do all the work. We just come
up.
up here and talk. So I guess like a highlight of the year, I guess, as far as like the fisheries, from people that I've talked to, like the crabs this year. I talked to Jason at Harrison's before I got here. Crabs he thought was a little bit below average, but the price was up on them, so you know, kind of made up the difference. So if y'all don't know, we have a fairly significant head boat fleet. The African Americans have that, and from what I've been told by the Coast Guard, it's one of the largest fleet on the coast of black captains that have in the commercial fishery right here in Queen Anne's County. So I talked to one or two of those guys before I got here. They thought, you know, about average for them also. So it seems like everything pretty much going about par, you know, what we would expect.
What about oysters?
Oysters.
Oh, boy.
Here we go. That's why I try to get the easy stuff out of the way first. The oysters in Queen Anne's County right now, oysters, well, last year the season was cut short with the COVID. It was completely, you know, when everything closed up, we were shut down too. Like the last month and a half or something like that. This year in Queen Anne's County, oystering is slow, way slow. The farther south you go, more abundance by far.
Why is that, Troy? Why are the oysters more abundant further south you go?
I think Captain Newberry is going to get into some
We
of
don't
the
want to
effect.
steal his thunder then.
Yeah, from the Conowingo, I think has a lot to do with it. One of our major areas, the Chester River, is closed to harvest. How? I mean, it's hard for me to explain this, but it's closed because it's overfished. But we're not allowed to fish there to start with.
And haven't been fishing.
and haven't been fishing.
But it's overfished.
How long has it been, how long is
It's been
that?
cooked yeah, 3 or 4 years.
3 or 4
We
years.
can actually, what we, some of our, I got some numbers for you, some plannings that we've done with the Rural County Coalition and all. We've been able to do it in the Chester River. The Secretary has assured us that the areas that we plant, say like 10 acres, we can open those individual areas. And I think this year we're in the process, or soon to be in the process of opening some of the areas that we have been planning in the last probably 4 years ago. They'll be of size, so that's hopefully going to happen here soon. But in the lower bay, the amount of oysters that we have is good.
So you guys are finding yourselves having to go south to
Yes.
get anything?
Yes.
So, which is additional
what is the
food
cost?
costs and, fuel costs and maintenance on your boats. It'd be nice if you'd be able to harvest how they're harvesting down there further up here. You wouldn't have to travel as much.
Sure. Right. Sure. And the other problem is the further south you go, there's a very limited amount of marinas. So it's really hard to find a place to tie the boat at down there. So,
How much, from a business standpoint, how much does it increase your cost to have to go down and back, go south?
30%.
Okay.
you talking about driving a
Business
pickup?
people gonna understand that if anybody
30
had a
to
30% increase
35%.
in your costs.
Yeah, because, we're going to be knocking on $4 a gallon fuel here in a couple of weeks. A lot of people don't realize that the fuel, they said fuel costs are going to increase 50% by 25th of December. So, we're looking at $4, but the problem is the price of our oysters. They're here where they should be here, and it's kind of going, just not.
And who controls that?
The buyers.
They just say this is all we're going to pay?
Well, specifically one buyer.
Yeah.
One buyer down in Virginia basically controls the whole market, and that's Mr. Bevins. And they're paying 45 down there. We're getting 35 and 37 up here, and it's because of the cost of logistics to get the product down there. So.
And the other problem we have here is the limited amount of migrant workers to process the oysters. That's come from Jason himself. He could handle more, and you'd probably get maybe some more money, but if you can't get them out of shell, they're not doing anybody any good.
Jason Ruth is the largest shucking house on the Eastern Shore.
In the state.
Well, yeah, in the state, really.
Yeah, in the state.
And considering that Kent Island back 30 years ago had about 20 houses. So it shows you what happens.
Yeah. Yes. So I guess to give you guys some numbers of what we've done this year. Most of our funding comes through the Department of Transportation through a grant, and I think it's for 3 or 4 more years. I think
Till 2006.
Yeah. So we get around 75, 80,000 from them, and it's all used for oyster replenishment. We also, every surcharge that's paid in Queen Anne's County, we have to pay a $300 surcharge to go oyster. Not only your license, but you have to buy this surcharge also. That money comes back to us. And some of the, when the buyers buy an oyster, they have to pay $1 tax for the shell. So we get some of that money back too.
Which, by the way, has been in place since the early 50s. So when oysters were $8 a bushel, it was $1 tax. When they were $50 a bushel, it was $1 tax.
And we're working with our state legislatures to increase it, to get up with times. But unfortunately, the governor is not, wanting to raise any taxes, but we're going to see what we can do. But last year, we spent $249,000 on spout on shell plantings in Eastern Bay and Chester River. That also includes the grant we have gotten from you guys. So we did that, and also the rural legacy funds that came from the no, from the rural, the county coalition, rural county coalition.
Rural County Coalition.
Yeah, and I think we're still doing some some work with them on exactly how that's going to operate. But
Is
so
this, wait a minute, this is the Upper Shore Regional Council, right? We're talking, not the rural county?
the what?
It's the Upper Shore Regional
Upper
Council?
Shore Regional.
Yes.
Upper Shore Regional, not the rural
okay,
county.
sorry.
Yes, I
Yeah,
have.
okay. I just want to make sure, yeah.
Yeah, I got rural legacy funds. Is that what it's called?
It's, yes, I think
Yes.
isn't that's what it's called, right? Yeah.
Comes from the Rural Legacy Fund.
Yeah, it's coming through the Rural Legacy
through.
Fund, through Upper Shore Regional Council, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Chris is the chairman on there, that's why I was making sure we got that square so that,
I'm sure- I got it straight then.
so that Janice didn't get on you that we're misrepresenting where the money came from.
Yeah, so we weren't able to do any planting last year because of the COVID, everything shut down, but we're getting it back in gear here a little bit and moving on forward. And,
The important thing too for the past 2 years with the COVID is that all watermen were considered essential personnel, by the way, by the governor and by the federal government, because we are directly involved in the food chain.
Mm-hmm.
And even with the COVID last year, which was amazing to me, was we went over 330,000 bushels of our oysters were harvested even during the COVID. So that just goes to show you how hard these guys really worked. I mean, it's fantastic. And this year, if everything goes right, we ought to be knocking on way over that.
So let me ask you a question, and these guys been doing it long enough to get somebody else in here who's done it a long time, is when they say we're overfished or whatever, historically, where are and this has got to put it in people's perspective so that they can understand it.
Yes.
Compared to today, 20 years ago, are you harvesting more, less, the same?
Well, to get the title right, there's two things in here, and this is where a lot of these quote environmental groups play the word game. There is overfishing, and then there's overfished. If an area is overfished, for instance, if your pond is overfished, that means you go down there, you don't catch any fish. They've been overfished, they're gone. If overfishing has occurred, someone has grabbed a magical number from somewhere in space and said, okay, we want to keep the number of fish in your pond at 200 fish. So if you're knocking around 160, 170, 190, overfishing is occurring. Is it actually occurring? It could be. But what they play the word on is, for instance, the two most productive areas in the Chesapeake, which are Tangier Sound and Broad Creek, are overfished, but overfishing is not occurring. So they're saying that there's more coming out than the biomass can support, but then when you look at the biomass numbers, which is the amount of oysters in that ecosystem, it's not even close. And it's just a word play that they put out there. And so when someone tells you overfishing is occurring, but the fishery is sustainable, you got to scratch your head and go, well, wait a minute, what are you saying? It's either sustainable or there is no overfishing. Which one is it? Well, you're overfishing a sustainable fishery. That's like saying you're putting too many coats on a house that has too many coats of paint. It makes no sense. So it's just a word game. But compared to where we were 20 years ago, we're working less time now and catching more oysters. 20 years ago, and Troy, we were working.
Why are you working less time?
Because of the abundance of oysters, the biomass has gone off the chart. We're right now at a 40-year high on spat count with baby oysters. We're at a 40-year high since 1999. Since 1999, it's just, they haven't seen numbers like this.
And what happens if you don't harvest them?
What happens when people grow old? I'll let you say it.
Well, and I was educated when I went out with Troy and all. We seeded that day in the East Bay there about the fact that it's a 3-year cycle, and it's just like what you're doing with your crops.
Yes.
If you let them grow in the field, they're going to die off, and there's no value to them. There's no food value. There's no nothing. And it's the same with the oysters. You have a lot of dead areas of shell in the bay that was live oyster areas that are now dead because they weren't harvested.
That's right. That's why you're using the magic word harvest. We're not raping, destroying, pilfering, pillaging, poaching. It's harvest. And a harvest means you plant and you harvest.
Right.
So that's what we do.
Right.
I mean, the sanctuaries that they've, in Queen Anne's County, I think they took like 39% of our prime bottom and turned into sanctuaries and have done zero investment in them. And they're it's just sitting there. doing absolutely nothing.
They're retirement homes for oysters, we call them.
And then once they get to the point they're dying off, then you're losing their filtration abilities in the bay, which is a major part of cleaning.
Well, one of the
bay out.
oldest ones in the river would be, let's say, Ringgold's. Ringgold's been a sanctuary since I've been a kid. You couldn't go out there and catch a cold, let alone an oyster. So what good has it done? Nothing. So,
I mean, it's just a shame. It's a real shame just to let the bottom sit. And you, like we talked about the Chester River, you know, we're making investments in it every year. Every year. The state has done absolutely nothing to it. And some local environmental groups I've tried to work with to see if they would, you know, give us some support to, you know, do more restoration work up there. And we get nowhere.
and the most important thing you got to look, and this is why, you know, I do want to say Queen Anne's County, we represent, and but just introduce the guys, I'm Captain Rob Newbury, I'm chairman of Delmarva Fisheries, and we represent Kent, Queen Anne's, Talbot, and Dorchester counties. The counties that we represent, Queen Anne's County, you guys are like numero uno. I mean, it's the support you give the watermen. Talbot has more members and has a lot of income, but their commissioners down there, I mean, I've been in front of them 10 times, and it's just like, they're like, huh? I mean, you guys kick in, you help out, and you see the investment that these guys make. And I just want to say on one thing in the investment, there was a study done in the Chester River from 1985 to 1999. For every dollar the watermen put in to the oysters, they received $13 in return. Now, with the cost of living and everything, for every dollar choice people invest, they get a $27.50 return. When the federal government and the state invest in these sanctuaries, and I'll give you a prime example, Choptank River Complex, $64.7 million. Do you know what they've got back? Zero. Not a dime, not 1 penny, not 1 cent. Has it helped the environment? We're not seeing it. We just got the sanctuary reports back. These sanctuaries that we were promised, and Troy was at the meeting, we were told, you guys will be begging and crawling on your knees for more sanctuaries. Well, guess what they've done? Nothing. So, you know, that's the problem that we're having. But you guys have been great working with Queen Anne's and helping them out and investing and seeing what it's doing, because, you know, it is Maryland, it's a heritage. You know, you look at our state symbol. Mm-hmm. There's a waterman on the right and a farmer on the left.
Yeah.
So both harvesters. And
it truly is a shame that I think the consumers that go to our restaurants and buy the oysters and clams and crabs don't always understand some of the challenges that you face, not just challenges that you bring on yourself, but uncontrollable challenges from overregulation that takes place in Annapolis by the uninformed.
Yeah, I've been doing this will be my 35th year being an advocate for the watermen. It's our 6th year with Delmarva Fisheries, and we have really risen to the top. I mean, we're doing a good job. It's to the point now where it's become a full-time position for me. And I hate to say it, I'm a fool, but you know, I volunteer all my time. I get no money.
Now, I can't think of a better person to get out there and raise a little hell, Captain.
But what I'm seeing is that when I go to Annapolis, you know, and I've worked for a good governor. I worked for Bobby Ehrlich. I know, you know, Governor Hogan personally very well from the time he worked with Bobby Ehrlich. Like last year, the guys asked me a question. They said, man, we need more money. We need more money. I said, well, ask the governor. Huh? What? So I put a letter together. Dear Governor Hogan, it has come to aware that we need more money for Shell. Can we put $1 million in the supplementary budget? 2 days later, I got a phone call. Got it. That's how easy it was. You don't know until you ask. But just watching over 35 years of what these guys have to fight to go through to work, if it was a farmer and they did to the farmers what they do to these watermen every day, Annapolis would be lined with green tractors every day.
That's why you got to put a scarlet letter around to people in Annapolis, so when they go to restaurants and try to order seafood, you tell them no, you can't have none.
Well, it's like the old saying, no farms, no food.
That's true.
Yeah.
No watermen, no seafood.
They're not bashful about coming over here and eating our seafood.
Oh, no, they love
the
it.
people that are trying to you know, work against you over there.
You know,
So-
it's certainly difficult not to take it personally. You know, a lot of the legislators that are over-regulating in Annapolis aren't even Chesapeake Watershed County legislators,
You hit the nail on the head there.
you know?
Well, you
So
know,
they're deciding our fate, and they really they don't have a horse in the race.
if you look at what we face when we go to the House of Delegates or when we go to the Senate, and I'll give you an example in the Senate. We sit in there with Senator Pinsky. Okay, between his county at PG and Montgomery County, they have 10 times the amount of representatives in the entire Eastern Shore delegation. 10 times. And when I'm sitting there listening to a person that doesn't know one side another from an oyster, or a male from a female crab, or a clam if he stepped on it, sitting there telling us that he wants to shut our industry down, and like he did that one year, he wanted to take, if you didn't pay your oyster surcharge, you had to give it up. And I got it right here. And it just amazes me. And then our legislators here on the shore try to stand up for it, and it's like they're fighting a hurricane.
Yeah.
I mean, when I sit up in the balcony and look down on the floor, and these guys get up and they want to make a statement about the watermen of the Eastern Shore, half of the people are up go the laptops, and you look down and they're playing solitaire or looking at something on eBay, or they don't even want to hear it. Or else, when they put a resolution to a bill, they go like this, boop, they just drop it in their trash can when they mention watermen. And that tears me up. And it's not good. I mean, my nerves can't take it anymore. But Queen Anne's County, you guys have done a really good job, with these watermen. And they could always use more, and the investment that you make with them. And, hopefully we'll be able to get these nutrient credit things worked out to where we can be coming to you guys and say, hey guys, about 50 large would be good, because you're going to get about 200 back in nutrient credits. So that's an investment that you can make with these watermen.
You've been looking into that too already, haven't you?
Yeah.
And they got to afford the agricultural people. There's no reason why we shouldn't be, doing something.
Yeah, I agree. That and the solar panels, Jim's hot on that, so. But Phil's got some good news for you, or hopefully good news for you.
So, in response to Peter Francho,
Oh, guys, before you say that, I just want to show you something here. I know they're going to see it from the back. Look at the shirt.
don't let Francho poach our heritage. So, with that, we have drafted a letter that has been edited to be a little softer than the original that was written, but understanding some of the comments that Peter Francho had made about establishing a moratorium on oysters, harvesting, and clams and other bivalves. So we decided to draft a letter to Peter Francho asking him to please reverse his position on that topic. And the commissioners are going to sign this letter, and we're going to forward it on to them.
One question I had, the copy you gave Troy, and a little typo here on the bottom, the first line of the last paragraph, we suggest taking a step back from the idea of pricing out mild oyster harvesting.
There is a typo, yes.
Yeah.
Should say phasing.
Phasing out wild oyster harvesting.
Wild, yeah. Just make the motion.
Someone must have a little arthritis in their thumb because the end's
So,
down here.
okay, so I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion
Just sign a letter.
to sign the letter with the intent of making the,
Marcia made the correction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? 5-0,
so
motion
we'll
carries.
get that corrected.
And just to let you know, since this letter has come out, if you read the original article, the paper called me immediately, and I, boom, let him have it. You are the only county, and I'm telling you, the only county in the state, and only politicians other than Johnny Mounts, that has come out in the past 10 weeks against this, putting people out of business by the comptroller. So, thank you.
Yeah, time.
Thank you.
That's
We got our economic development director back there. We can't do anything wrong. We can get in trouble if we vote against
Yeah,
that
we
kind of
got,
stuff.
I gotta give her a plug too. She's really been a big help,
yeah.
with the CARES Act stuff that came.
She's got it ingrained in her blood a little bit.
Well,
Comes naturally.
I know she
Waterman
helped
side
a
comes
lot of
naturally.
people out, and she's doing a lot now with the Christmas tree stuff. So we got that coming up too.
And why don't you guys give a shout out about that?
But the Christmas tree, yeah, I got it. It's
Oh, and just to let you know, she comes to the meetings at 7 a.m. on Sundays too.
For the breakfast, she told me.
They're having the Christmas tree, they're having a paint day, so you can come like paint your basket there at the VFW. It says Graceville VFW, November 14th, Sunday, November 14th, 11 to 2.
This Sunday.
Yes, and then,
So you can buy the basket,
Yep.
and you can take it home and decorate it yourself, and then, or for an additional.
Go right there.
Or if
You do it there.
Or you can do it right
Sunday,
there.
you can sit
Or
there
you
and
can do it
paint.
right there.
They got the paint, the brushes, everything, you do it.
Or if you want, you can buy the basket and then pay an additional $20 and it'll be decorated for you.
Yep. And I don't have,
And how close to, because you're doing two trees this year, correct?
You got to, we
Yeah,
ran
so-
out last year.
And how close are you to being sold out on the two trees?
I think they sold 80, we just started last weekend, sold 80 baskets.
How many?
80. I don't know have y'all sold any over there?
Oh, I better get over there tomorrow to get mine.
So
I will
what's
be there tomorrow.
I don't have
They'll
the
go
date-
quick.
The date for the, lighting it up.
December 4th.
December 4th for the lighting it up. And I think we're having, the Kent Harris Foundation has, stepped up with some funding, and we're having a tent and some vendors down there for that whole thing.
It was cold 2 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
So we're gonna have a tent this
Yeah,
year.
but you're to stand outside this time.
Yeah.
And wet.
It's December, it's supposed to be cold and wet.
I guess, I'm thinking, like, down the slips and all, everything's good, working with James from, Parks and Rec, James and Rusty, everything's good down there. I think we got a little issue going on down there, but I think, it's supposed to be resolved soon.
At the pier?
Yeah, down at the harbor there, I think it's supposed to be.
Have the signs worked out, the people staying off your boats and that kind of stuff?
I think that was more a COVID thing than anything.
Okay.
Thanks to Commissioner Duville, he went up to the hardware store, got no trespassing signs, and come down, and put them up himself. Appreciate that.
Yeah, actually, the Parks and Rec Department also helped in that, but yeah.
Yeah, that's just, I think the COVID thing was like, people were fishing just to get out and go fishing.
Yeah.
And, you're trying to work and they're parked behind your boat and people were having a lot of trouble. So I think that was just
Kind of like what we had at the parks as well.
as what, oh yeah.
Issues at our parks.
And stuff.
Yeah, I think, from what I was talking to the, workers that, there was a lot of issues going on everywhere with that. Other than that, I can't really.
Well,
think
you guys continue to keep up the good fight.
I got a couple things if I just want to
Okay.
touch on. One thing is, I want to thank, and on behalf of, I do a lot of work with the Clean Chesapeake Coalition with Chip McLeod and his group and Ronnie Fithy, and on behalf of them, I'd like to thank you guys for joining again this year. And Chip wanted me to pass on to you, we kind of like you to be the lead this year because Kent County basically found it necessary to not join this year because, and I'm not afraid to say this, and Commissioner Mason, if you're watching, listen, he basically said, we've lost the Conowingo, the bay is dead, why worry about it? My bay never dies.
So he's a quitter.
He's a quitter. He's a quitter. And I'm going next week to their commission meeting, and he's going to get the full money from me. I've about had it. And I mean, to sit there and see what this Conowingo's done, and a lot of people I know, because there's been a lot of stuff with the president and this and that and money and all this, but from the 28th of October until just last Monday, the Conowingo had the largest discharge of sediment and water since Hurricane Lee.
Wow.
There were 7 consecutive days that they were open, excess of 138,000 cubic feet per second. Just to let you know, that's 38,000 cubic feet per second over the scouring stage. They had as many as average of 5 gates, as high as 12, sometimes 7, and they were just bouncing all around.
I wonder why you guys can't harvest oysters north
That's
of
right.
the Chesapeake Bay Bridge.
And to add to it, the damage that was done in Kent and Cecil County, it amazes me because, see, farmers even have to understand this last scouring and last dump we had coming out of the Conowingo Bay Dam gives us a 25-year TMDL load of nitrogen and phosphorus. So the farmers are out here that are putting phosphorus and nitrogen on their ground are suffering because of what's coming out behind that Conowingo Dam. That's not fair. So fortunately, we've got a thing on the 6th with the Maryland Farm Bureau down in Cambridge, and they've invited me to give a
good 2-hour speech on exactly how we got to fix this problem.
Do you think you could do it all in 2 hours?
No, no. But the other thing directly across from Queen Anne's County is the fact that everybody is bragging about how great the city of Baltimore and their wastewater treatment plant. During the surge and all that rain, 3.2 million gallons of raw effluent into the bay. The west wind came, where did 90% of that stuff come? Kent and Queen Anne's County. And the other thing is, too, people are asking, what's wrong with the Northern Bay? There's been a study done, number one, and it's this is kind of a pandemic scare. A guy was wondering why there's so many fish that don't look good and the rockfish don't look good in the bay. Well, the problem is that there's a disease, they call it fish handler's disease, which is, it's a bacteria that is created when you basically slime a fish, and then you can actually do that on your hand, come back in 3 days later, and there's your finger. It's microbacteriosis. They have found that 80% of the fish in the Chesapeake and 70% of the fish that they studied in the Hudson River have internal and external microbacteriosis. What do those two bodies of water share in common? High levels of estrogen, high levels of antibiotics, high levels of antibacterial products, and caffeine. So that's what's going on in the bay. And you guys being with the Clean Chesapeake, I mean, Chip and I are going to be working on some things, and, you know, he's going to get with what's going on as far as what we're going to have to do. We got MACO coming, 2 weeks? We got the MACO meeting, I believe.
December, is it?
No, yeah, December 8th.
Yeah, it's 4 weeks, 4 weeks, yeah, 4 weeks. We got MACO, and I think that's going to be one of the conferences down at MACO about the, you know, what's going on with the Chesapeake. But the thing is, it's hard for these guys to put and spend money and put oysters in a water that will not survive. It just doesn't work. I mean, you can put all the fish in a pond, unless you've got good oxygen and good food source, they're not going to make it. So that's why you're asking the question, why is the lower bay better? So north of the Bay Bridge, as far as I'm concerned, is a cesspool. No one's doing anything about it. You know, we just finished the Oyster Advisory Committee on trying to develop an oyster plan. 5 years ago, I sat in a church over in Annapolis on the opening day of that Oyster Advisory Committee and said, why are we here? Well, we're here to make up a new oyster plan. And I said, well, we had a plan that worked from 1960, which is mentioned in here, from 1960 to 2006 that generated 59 million bushels of oysters and $73.4 million in revenue. Why did we stop it? Oh, because the environmentalists and the Bay Foundations were the one behind it, stopped it. Well, they just finished the Chesapeake Bay Commission Summit down in Virginia last week. Virginia, 12 years ago, did 80,000 bushels of oysters. We were ahead of them the whole time. This year, they're operating on 800 to 1 million bushels. And why is that? Well, this is good for Queen Anne's County. Langenfelder's property at Love Point was the hub of that industry for 46 years. The dredge that was made to dredge shells, the only one in the world, was made in Queen Anne's County by Langenfelder Company. You know where that dredge is now? Virginia. You know why it's in Virginia? Is because the environmentalists don't want us dredging shell up here, but they're doing it in Virginia. So now what the environmentalists have done, they have asked the federal government for more money for shell. Okay? In the bay here, we have 150 million bushels of shell that is absolutely doing nothing. It's buried under about a foot of mud. It's called man-o-war shoals. That would restore 15,000 acres of bottom in the bay. The Bay Foundation doesn't want us to touch it. In another 14 days, I'll be having a meeting, and I'd like for you guys to come down. We're going to be doing a press conference down at Hemingway's. And I will personally be asking the government to finance this program. Because if you look at what has happened over the past 2 weeks, in the next 5 years, the Chesapeake Bay program will receive $238 million for bay restoration. Senator Van Hollen and Senator Cardin have asked for an additional $737 million. So that's $950 million is going to be coming into the bay. There is no reason why north of this Bay Bridge from Queen Anne's County north, we should not have the way the oysters when Troy and I were growing up. We ought to have 1,000 guys working in the Chester River. We ought to have 100 people coming up from southern Maryland staying in Rock Hall, my home port, staying there the whole time and working until New Year's when they have to go home to their families. That's what we need to have. We don't need to have all this garbage and crud flowing up and down this bay. It's absolutely unheard of. I mean, the Western Shore doesn't care. They don't care. Half the people know one thing about the bay. It's wet. That's all. You go to Annapolis, that's all they know. But they're going to put a regulation putting me and him out of business. So, I thank you guys for what you're doing, but we've really, we've got a hard fight coming ahead of us. It's going to get ugly. It's going to get real ugly. Because they want us, when you have the comptroller of the state of Maryland, and I'm not saying the governor or the governor wannabe, the actual comptroller come to a town in Talbot County of Easton and say he wants to put a moratorium on all water filtering bivalves and phase out the wild fishery over my dead body. It ain't happening. And as far as him becoming governor, I'll say it too, it ain't happening either. Because Dorchester County has already said they will spend every dime in Dorchester County going against this guy. So this is horrible that someone has to say that. I mean, you guys wouldn't say you're going to put, school bus drivers out of work. You're not going to put people in your own county out of work. This guy comes over and says he's going to put here, let me give you a 4-inch grinder. Take the waterman off the other side. Do that in every state building. Get rid of the waterman if that's what you want. But that's what we're fighting. They don't want to hurt us. And Troy will tell you this. They want us off the water. They don't want us there. We're in the way. They don't want us there. But we're not going anywhere. So.
I hit on one more thing before we get out of here. I don't know if y'all have heard anything about this national park stuff.
Yeah.
I am on the Title Fish Advisory Commission, and we unanimously voted not to support any of it. There was another project similar to this maybe 5-6 years ago, Mallows Bay, and we voted to support it. Started out just in the Potomac River where I think they're like old Civil War ships or something, whatever's left of them from waterline down. It started to be, a relatively small area. And then they found another one a half a mile upriver. So the boundary all of a sudden jumped a half a mile.
And this boundaries that they set up prevented you guys from
commercial fishing in it was going to be regulated, I think, is what it was. And then they found another ship a mile down. So the footprint actually just expanded rapidly, and we ended up not supporting it. And I think it eventually went back to its original size, and I think the governor finally supported it. So right now, what's going on, I think there's no real specifics, but just due to how things went and previously, right now we have, decided not to support it for right now.
And your concern is that they're going to take away.
Well, let me tell you something.
Let me say one more thing real quick, Rob. The Chesapeake Bay, you can recreate anywhere you want into it right now.
Yep.
All you got to do is if you got a kayak or a canoe, the county has plenty of landings. You take your kayak or canoe to county landing, go over, and you can recreate. There's only one place you can't recreate. And I think the last time we were here, we talked about that, and that's aquaculture leases, that a person owns that property and they're on top of the water, so you can't get through that, naturally. But anywhere else in the bay, you can recreate all you want. And our concern is if you turn that into a national park over there, what we were told was like from Weston House south, between the bay and Whitehall Creek. That's what they wanted. So are they going to want, that's crab pot area. Are they going to want your crab pot in front of it? That's maybe they say yes, but
So the concern is that they're going to take away harvesting areas that you guys have been using.
What they said, I had the initial meeting with Mr. Dunn right in town here at Docks. And I told him right out of the gate, ain't going to work. Oh, but this is going to do that. I said, no, we do not want the Park Service here. And we don't want a recreational area. not now. And I said, would you agree to a 4-year feasibility study to see if it's feasible? I mean, with the way the bay is right now, 2 million more people bringing their garbage and their pollution here, we don't need. I'm sorry. If you're worried about the money, hey, I'll write you a check. But as far as that goes, no, you're not going to be killing the bay. So they've painted this picture. You saw it go on at Mako. They said, well, there's no draft. There's no draft. There's no draft bill. There's no draft bill. Where do we get the copy of the draft bill then, if there's no draft bill? They know what they want. They know what they're going to do. And they've done this several times. One of my board of directors, Mr. DiDomenico, he did it in Florida for the Park Service for 10 years. Got so embarrassed by what happened. They started this park. Okay, we're not going to mess with the fishing. We're not going to mess with anything. Then they said, oh, there's manatees in there. Nothing over 6 knots. Oh, the coral's getting damaged by the stone crab traps. No more. So now, guess what it is? It's electric motors only. It's off limits to everybody. And the thing is, they're going to come in here. So I asked Mr. Dunn specifically. I said, what is the Park Service going to do? Because I don't even see them on the paper initially. Now they are on there. They are going to manage the park. Manage what? Manage it. No, you got to manage something. What are you going to manage? The activities. I rest my case. Fishing, hunting, crabbing, oystering. If it falls into a problem, but being this into consideration too, what surrounds every piece of water we have here in the bay already? The John Smith Trail. What's that from? U.S. Park Service, guys. All they got to do is touch it. Its domain is all in course in that area. So, I mean, I don't trust it. Now is not the time to do it. They sold a bill of goods. They tried to Easton and Talbot County, and I don't think they want anything to do with it. And, if their gentleman would like to come in and have a roundtable in Queen Anne's County, I know certain watermen said they would never want to talk to him. I loathe the day that I have them at a table with me, because I got some real good questions to ask them that they can't answer. But to turn this bay into a national park right now would be the devastation of everything we've got going on. So.
Well, thank you. We'll have you guys in again. If that goes any further, tell us more about it.
Yeah, and I mean, if you guys want to contact these, I mean, what they need to do is there has to be some form of coordination with these people, and Chip and the Clean Chesapeake, I'm working with them on this. There has to be coordination with local governments. That's the law.
Yeah.
They just can't come in and slam it into you. So if you guys want to do something and take the lead, which I know I'd love to see you guys would in Queen Anne's, now the lead of the Clean Chesapeake, with the other counties, because I don't know what these guys in Kent County are going to do. I mean, they don't know what they're going to do. But other than Ron Fithian, Ron's a real good guy. Plus, Ronnie's a Republican.
He's got to be
now,
embarrassed.
So, yeah, so.
All right.
All right, guys.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Josh. It's been a pleasure. Phil, can I keep this?
Yes, you can.
Thank you much. I'm glad you watered it down a little bit.
They had to do some heavy convincing.
Yes, they did. Thanks, Josh.
All right.
All right, take care now.
Thanks, gentlemen. Okay, commissioners, press and public comment?
Anybody on the list? Nobody? All right, we'll do roundtable.
Roundtable.
Commissioners.
I think for the sake of time,
I got one quickie.
Well, if anybody has anything? Stevie?
Nothing.
Jim?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I got something. I just, from looking at the book and some things, I think that, Todd, you need to, and I think we brought this up at the last meeting, the boards and commissions, the fees, the salaries, we need to look at that for some sort of study. And for those that don't know, Queen Anne's County is I don't want to say bleeding employees, but we're losing employees. So I think that the county administrator with finance is looking to something to help retain our employees, some sort of funding solution for that. So something we can
like a
talk about.
retention?
Something to if it's a bump in salary, whatever. But we can't keep bleeding employees. So something that could come.
We're training them and giving them to other counties.
Yeah, that's right. So, anyways, that's all I had.
Good point.
Honestly, I just wanted to bring up and congratulate the 9 Eagle Scout proclamations I got to sign tonight. That's phenomenal. A county of 50,000, and we're going to have 9 Eagle Scouts in less than a week. I mean, and I've participated in that. I know Chris has. I think Phil's done some. Jim's been to some. But it's amazing how well our Boy Scout troops do here in the county. I'm very proud of how many we turn out.
And to achieve Eagle Scout, how would you?
A lot of commitment. I mean,
How would you
it's-
commit, I mean, how could you quantify the time commitment and what you have to do to achieve Eagle Scout?
What's impressive when you read the proclamations and you read all the other things they're doing besides becoming an Eagle Scouts. A couple of them I saw 4.3 GPAs, 2 sports teams, things. I mean, so that's a lot of commitment, and that's just one more thing. And it's they see it through from the time they're like 6 or 7 years old to 17. That's a 10-year commitment. That shows hopefully in the future that's how they're going to live their life, is commit themselves to something and follow through. So it's good to see 9 of them. Congratulations to all of them.
Mr. Dumino?
No, I have nothing.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right,
Boom, boom.
we're done.
I'm gonna go home and get some meat. What do you